Will Sally's imagination be sparked? Will she fall asleep again? And just what has caught our storyteller's attention? Is it a thunderbird? Is it a harpy? Is it a dragon?
I don't think it would be my last wish.
We've got someone breaking in.
Oh,
No, just leave it. That's fine. You know, we're doing a video and I don't want to just see you get up and go and do something else. I mean, come on, concentrate.
I've seen your videos. You do that all the time.
Yeah, but I'm allowed to. Right, anyway, so there are 54 cards in the deck because that's just the way the printers print it. So the good thing about that is we've got like a little title sheet with little thanks and you know who's made the cards.
And then 2 jokers.
Hey, very good. 2 jokers, the author, a little bit about me and advertising my Mythical Tales from Edra universe. A bit about Rich as well, the artist, and also about his patron, which is Animal Tragic, so check that out. Plus, we have another little nice cool looking front of the card, but then you have the list as well. So obviously if you did just want to look at the list, you can search through and look at exactly which creature. So you might go, gargoyle, that's it, that sounds great for my story, and then you can flick through the cards and actually pick out the gargoyle if you want to. So let's do we've never done this before, so this will be interesting.
Totally unthought through.
Yes. Let's shuffle the deck.
Yep.
Do you want to shuffle the deck?
Thorough.
You shuffle the deck. So obviously, like I say, they're not going to be that size. Yeah. And that's when we need the golem to then pick them all up again. They will be this size, so imagine my hand is that size. My hand is the size of the cards, but you don't know how big my hand is. We've got a pint glass. Here's a pint glass. We all know how big a pint glass is. That's my hand right there. So I've got little baby hands.
So what does that mean? They're the size of a pint glass.
Oh yeah, that's a great way to. They are
bigger than a pint glass.
Yeah, well that's the box. Let's have a look. They are, if you want measurements, if you go by actual numbers, they are 88mm by 126mm. But this is more fun. Look, so they are a pint
and a tiddly.
That measurement, a pint and a tiddly. Can I have a pint and a tiddly, please? Thanks. Of Badger's Tail Ale. Sounds nice. So yeah, you've shuffled them. Okay, would you like to pick one then if I fan them out? It's quite hot now, isn't it? Yeah, you can also use them as a fan.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of that. Don't look, close your eyes.
Oh.
Hey!
Did you see it?
I did.
Are you supposed to?
Yes, because how am I going to make up a story?
Oh right. Shall I?
It's not a magic trick. Is this your card you're thinking of?
You'd think I'd know how it works, wouldn't you?
It's very simple. You just. So if you do randomly just go, right, I want to write a story about a mythical creature, you can shuffle them, yeah?
And also look at the card you picked.
I didn't think I'd have to explain it in this much detail. Yes, and then you would look at it, wouldn't you? So look at it. Is this your card you're thinking of? It's the basilisk. Basil?
Basil.
Now, the basilisk, as those of you will know, was featured in Harry Potter.
It's also in the Bible.
Is it also in the Bible?
Can't remember.
No, I think that's the Leviathan that
Leviathan.
Yeah, that I didn't put in. But that is a serpent-type creature, I think, the Leviathan, isn't it?
That's why I got it mixed up.
So we've got the basilisk. Now, if you read... So what I would do is I would then go, right, cool illustration for starters. Then I would say... So you could even just not even bother reading that if you don't want to and just go, right, cool, I'm going to make up a story about the basilisk. And then you could just say, well, look, he's got glowy red eyes. Maybe his eyes hypnotise people. Yeah?
Yep.
Like the Jungle Book.
Does that hypnotise people?
Yeah, you know, the snake. It goes
oh, I thought you meant the actual Jungle Book.
Yeah, when you read that. I don't know if you knew that. There've been a lot of cases of people they just go under. Never read and drive at the same, especially not the Jungle Book. So you could say, yes, maybe you could write from the basilisk's point of view. Maybe they talk, you know.
Yeah.
But you could read it. So the basilisk is a highly venomous serpent whose throat never touches the ground.
Where does its throat stop?
Is it just one big throat?
Yeah, I don't know, the snake. Like...
Don't come up with your clever questions. Well, I would imagine, look, it's got a chin, so the throat probably stops after the thorax.
The Adam's apple.
Yes.
Do they have Adam's apples?
They probably just have apples for lunch. Probably just, I don't know, about there, I reckon. It's always one with the awkward questions, isn't it? Everything about it is poisonous. Its bite, its Adam's apple, its glance, saliva, and smell are all fatal. Its fiery breath and death-dealing cry make this creature incredibly dangerous. The basilisk's glance alone has the ability to strike onlookers dead. So I'd forgotten that bit, but I looked at the eyes and thought, oh, maybe it could hypnotise them. But no, the original proper myth is that it can strike the onlookers dead. Its glare causes plants to wither, trees to die, and birds to fall from the sky. Travellers are advised to carry a crystal globe to reflect back the petrifying stare. Other recommended protections are carrying a weasel, a venomous bite, you're blowing your nose again, a jar of carrying a weasel whose venomous bite may be of equal potency. So just carry a little weasel with you all the time. A jar of griffin tears, or having a cockerel, since its crowing sends the basilisk into painful fits, sometimes resulting in death for this foul serpent. So
You're really good at doing an impression of a cockerel.
What? Who? Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look.
If
look.
it was the crowing,
You ready?
uncanny.
It's good, isn't it?
So, if its crowing sends it into painful fits, I wonder if it knows that it's a cockerel. If somebody was really good at doing a cockerel noise,
Oh, I see.
could you fool it?
Like that guy from Police Academy. You've not seen Police Academy? Look it up. Millennials. No,
I have the one with Leslie Nielsen.
no. That's Police Squad.
Oh,
That's what you're thinking of, the TV show, and then you're thinking of the
Naked Gun.
the spin-off film.
Yeah. So Police
version.
Academy. No.
No,
Idea. Is Eddie Murphy in it?
Maybe. No, I don't think Eddie Murphy's in that, but there is a bloke who does sound effects with his voice.
Okay.
So he probably could do a good cockerel. The thing is, though, I guess, like anything, it might have to... Yeah, if you could do a brilliant impression of it, it might trick it. But again, that could be part of your story.
Yep.
You could sort of go, right, I maybe your character finds that out, and then, or just knows it anyway. But I don't know. Anyway.
Tries it.
And then tries it out, and then that doesn't work.
I'm going to say, because really, there's only one way of testing it out.
Yeah. It's by trying it.
Going cockerel free.
Madam. You speak for yourself. But what instantly, when I was reading that, I was thinking, now I've not written a story yet of a basilisk, but when I was reading that, I thought, what sparked my imagination was its glare causes plants to wither, trees to die, and birds to fall from the sky. So imagine, the story starts with a wise, lovely old lady who's a gardener, and she's got a greenhouse, and she is, watering her plants. She's got a bit of a past. She's dabbled in magic. She knows herbs. She knows, the natural world. Yeah, and she is tending her plants, and then at some point you're going to have a basilisk enter the story. Yeah, so it could be then that her backstory is that she was an adventurer, and she remembers, a basilisk, could have escaped from a dungeon somehow, and is coming her way, or the villagers, because maybe she could be on the sort of outskirts, like living in the woods, and then the villagers say, "Oh my God, no, we're being attacked," and she then needs to go and rescue them. Mm-hmm. That could be it. And she knows that you need to carry a globe. But you could try... See, the good thing about that is you need conflict. Oh, look, I've got a globe up there. Do you want to grab the globe? You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that. Can you read? Yeah. There you go, look. So, look, nice little pocket-sized globe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
So,
see?
yeah.
So if you're an adventurer, you probably... Yeah, that's it. So what you could have a scene is when she discovers that the basilisk is, you know, devastated, like travelling through the landscape, and she needs to stop it before it gets to the village. You could have a scene where she goes down into her basement, and under cover of sheets, you know, and there's all dust, it's all her adventuring stuff. You know, when she used to go dungeon crawling, and she could look out. She goes, right now, basilisk. Maybe she could consult a book, an ancient book, and go, oh, we need a globe.
Find her weasel.
Yes, we've all got to find our inner weasel. I think, not just if there's a basilisk. Yeah, but you can have it you've got to have it where she fails a couple of times, because you've got to have the conflict, got to build up the drama. So she finds her globe. She also, so she has a jar of griffin tears. Okay, she's still got half her jar left. What are you doing?
Put it up to your eye, what?
Oh, I see. Oh, I'm upside down. Go on, what did you do? Maybe it's just your eyes.
No, there you go. It's really freaky.
Yeah, no wonder it defends against the basilisk. So she picks up her globe, tucks that in her pocket. She then, jar of griffin tears, she grabs that. She hasn't got a cockerel, but
she can do a really good impression.
well, you could, yeah, but maybe, yeah, okay. So she thinks, yes, I've never tried it, but I used to, I'll, whatever. Yeah, let's say she was in, let's say she was, for 3 years in a row, the local village farmyard animal winner, impression winner, for 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So she knows her farmyard animals. Mm-hmm. Okay. But she thinks she knows that knowledge. She might take a little book with her, and so then when she's going to confront the basilisk, she tries the globe. That doesn't work.
Uh-oh.
For whatever reason, you'd have to sort of say it was cracked, or there was some sort of defect with it. It
rolled just underneath the.
Yeah, she drops it or something. Yeah, just
rolls.
as she was about to step. Yeah,
yeah, it's quite hard to keep a hold of.
It could be, especially if it's a hot, sweaty day like today.
Yeah, and she's a bit dyspraxic.
I wonder who you're talking about. Then you could also have, so then she says, right, no, but it's all right, come on. And she's scrabbling around getting a jar of griffin tears out. Yeah. Now, it doesn't say, and I can't remember, and this is why, again, I wanted to write this down so I could quickly have a reference to it. It doesn't say how you'd use the griffin tears, so that's where your imagination can come in. How would you use the griffin tears then to try and defeat
throw it in its face.
Throw them in its face.
I guess.
Yeah. Would they have to drink it, do you reckon? No, that'd be even difficult.
Yeah.
That'd be hard. But you could have it where,
if it's got its mouth like that, no worries.
Yeah,
straight in.
Not a problem, with the glass as well. But you could also have it where the basilisk is sleeping and that she needs to somehow prise the jaws open to pour the griffin tears in, because that builds up tension as well. And that maybe that she sneezes, for example, because she's got a runny nose, and she sniffs too loudly, that wakes up the basilisk, and then she drops the tears and they fall to the ground.
I have a question.
Yes.
What happens if its throat touches the ground? Because you say it never does, but is it because it can't?
Well,
or is it because if something happens if it does?
I don't know, I can't remember. But that's enough for me to go, I'll use that. Maybe that's how it gets defeated. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I mean? So you've always got to have one of these things. So you have a few that don't work for whatever reason, and then one that does, like it could be that somehow you trick it into lowering itself. Maybe you put food on the floor. I don't know, but you could somehow get it so it does trick.
Yeah.
And then maybe
stamp on its head.
Could be, but then the boulder. So if a boulder's fell on it, the boulder would probably crush it to death anyway, rather than it just. But then that's the thing. Well, yeah, why? Leave comments below. Why would that? If what happens? It could be. What would be? Yes.
I suppose it's a vulnerable position, isn't it? Mm. To have to be flat on the floor.
It could just be that then. That if it's flat on the floor,
always like alert.
Yes, maybe you could have it where maybe the skin, the scaly skin, is very, very tough, and it's known that no sword can penetrate its tough, leathery skin. Apart from, legend says there's a bald patch at the back. Because all creatures do have to have weaknesses.
Like that thing in the dragon, like that dragon.
Yes, like in the Hobbit with the dragon, there's a scale missing, isn't there? And you have to, if you get it in the vulnerable point. So you could have that, like Achilles' heel. You could have that scales, and again, you could create a backstory about why that is the vulnerable bit. And then if you manage to get its neck low enough, then you can clamber up it to then thrust the spear or sword into the vulnerable point. There you go. Or the other thing that crossed my mind was, you'd have the tears don't work. Then it could be that you either have then it could be. I don't necessarily like randomness in a story. I do think it needs to all fit. But you could have that she has a pet weasel, or someone has a pet weasel, that's with her, and that they didn't know that the weasel actually could rescue them.
Yeah.
So that maybe, because they're being attacked, that the weasel's owner, it's like the weasel just jumps up and sort of sacrifices, and they start fighting, and sacrifices itself by biting it.
Or does it die then?
Well, it would depend how you write it.
Yeah.
You could have it where it jumps up onto the basilisk, maybe at the throat, maybe that could be the vulnerable point.
Yeah.
The weasel manages to bite it, give it the poison, and then maybe how you write it, and then the weasel manages to jump off and scamper away, and it's all happy days. Or basilisk crushes it to death as it falls.
Oh, like Jesus.
Bittersweet. What?
So.
Oh yes, I know. In the where he wrestles a big basilisk just after he's fed with the fishes and.
No, so in the serpent bit with Adam and Eve, and the serpent with the temptation and all that.
Temptation.
Then God says to the serpent, "You're going to crawl on your belly for the rest of your life, and there will be somebody that comes and will crush you, but in that you will bite its heel as it's crushing you, and so it will be wounded." So that, like, Jesus is the person that came and defeated
evil, but was wounded because he was.
Yeah. Just slightly wounded.
Well, yeah, mortally wounded.
Yes.
It was a flesh wound, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So, I didn't know that about the snake. So it goes. I knew that it was like, yes, you're now going to have to crawl along the ground. But say that again. Then, but when you get defeated, you're going to get crushed, but you will bite back. So there will be a bit of argy-bargy.
Exactly. So in your head being crushed, you will bite the heel of the person.
There you go. So there you go. So that has got. So already we've created a biblical type story of biblical proportions. But yes, the weasel could be crushed, or equally the weasel, does bite it, but then the basilisk somehow manages to bite the weasel, and dies as well. So, yeah, there you go. And you imagine you can build up the character of the old lady. You can hint that she's a bit kind of, that she's...
I did have an idea as well.
Oh, there we go. See? Somebody who never has ideas. Before recording going, no, I can't do that. I won't come up with any ideas. You do it.
Well, I'm not sure it's the original idea, but...
Doesn't have to be.
I did think... So you could have the old lady, but before, like, kind of setting the scene, you could have a mysterious, like... Oh, our crops are failing. We don't know why.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That sort of birds are
Yeah, birds
the
falling out from the sky.
Occasional robin that just know.
Oh, not the robin. See, already you've hooked me in. You made me upset. I want to know what's doing this to the birds.
Yeah, and then bring in the old lady. And so there's a kind of the villagers are a bit like, oh, what the hell's going on?
Yes, and that's.
And then you might hear a slithering occasionally.
Oh, I often do. That's foreshadowing the ominous events that's going to happen. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. If that is not testament, not an idea in her life, I want to present you with a little certificate now or something, a little trophy.
I'm proud of
Story
myself.
Spark trophies. Maybe that's what we should do. Story Spark certificates. No, but that absolutely, that's perfect. Yeah, but here also, then you can build up the atmosphere because it's bite, glance, saliva, and smell are all fatal. So you could have a group of villagers that come to attack it, and then it's like it's like, don't look in its eyes, you know.
Don't smell it.
Yeah, don't smell it. And and then they find out, they have to retreat, and they go, right, hang on, so and so died because what? The smell was horrible. And someone goes, well, I didn't smell it. Go, well, no, I didn't smell it either. How do they know then? Oh, someone could just before they go, oh, what's that smell?
What's
yeah. What's that?
Maybe
and then
they do a big sniff.
Yeah, and then they die, and so don't smell. And then they have to create like they
hazmat suits.
Yeah, well, but wait, you could like have the plague doctor mask, because this is true. They used to put crushed flowers in, didn't they? Because they thought that obviously the plague travelled through the air, and then the smell, it would diffuse all the particles of the plague, but it was nice smelling. So you could have that. Okay, it's like an early form of gas mask, isn't it? So you could have that. You could have the glance. Yeah, the glance. You could have that in people that don't look at it. So then they'd have to. Yeah, then they'd have to get down to their local crystal ball shop.
Yeah.
Some of those. You can make goggles.
Yeah, you could make goggles.
Yeah. Then the inventor of the village goes, don't worry, I fashioned these, and he just halves a globe. And makes like these steampunk. Well, that's what you'd find out. You'd go, I don't know. I cut this in half, and it's like these old steampunk sort of glasses. They're brilliant. They're very difficult to see in. Be careful, but only put them on at the when you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
I'm not sure these would be very good as goggles though, because you really can't see.
No, but the good thing about it is that it also. So it's blocking you from seeing its gaze, but if it's trying to gaze you out, because it knows that its glance can kill you.
What I'm saying is you can't see anything. Though.
No, I know, that's what I'm saying. You'd walk up to it and go.
But you don't know where it is.
No, but you'd smell it. I know you can't smell it. You'd have.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, it always is. No, but you would sort of go.
You'd have a weasel to lead you to it.
Absolutely. You'd train your weasels to smell it, because maybe weasels don't die because of the smell. Maybe it's just that to humans. Or maybe it's a race of gnomes. And a couple of humans, and the humans die because of the smell, but the gnomes don't.
Yeah.
Yeah? There's endless possibilities here. But seriously, if anybody can fashion me a globe steampunk glasses, that'd be fantastic. I want a pair now, I seriously do. But that would be it. But I love that. I love, I've written characters that are, crackpot inventors. I love all that. So you could have your character and he goes, and then maybe he goes and tries it and it doesn't work, and he gets eaten. Oh no! Well, you got to have a bit of death.
Yeah.
Well, you do. I think.
Well, you've got to have some jeopardy, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Some peril.
Yeah, especially if you're going to have a big, ferocious creature like that. Obviously, if you're writing about an inkpot monkey, it's a cute little monkey. It's not necessarily that's going to be a gentler story. But who knows? It might not be. So yeah. Should we do another one?
Okay.
I think that was rather successful. I think that might be my next story. Right then. Shall I pick one?
No, you picked last time. I'm going to pick this one.
I think if we watch the video back, we'll find that Sally picked last time.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
But I'm going I'm going to say that
you're quite right.
Never disagree with a woman. You know what's good for you.
Don't look.
Don't look. Hang on. That's why I need my goggles, you see.
Yeah.
Right then. Hold it up so they can see though. So there's no cheating, there's no underhand, so I'll look away. Right. Oh, I think this one's a good one.
Calling you.
Yeah. Oh! The kraken awakes.
It's a whiskey, isn't it?
It is a whiskey, yeah. But that again, that's how you could start it. It could be, you could just have it where an old salty sea dog is drinking. Is it just called kraken?
Awake the kraken or beware the kraken.
Oh,
I think there's.
But you could
more to it.
have a whiskey called Kraken's Breath. Salty. And you could have a salty sea dog, and he's just in the corner, and nobody talks to him, and then a stranger comes in and talks to him and goes, I'll tell you about why I lost my eye. Kraken, also known as the devil fish or giant octopus. and noticeably larger than a sperm whale. The kraken is a horrifying danger to sailors crossing the seas. Signs of boiling waters are feared, for this heralds the ascent of the sea monster from its murky depths.
The murky depths.
The murky depths. If it breaks the surface, there is no escape. If attacked, panic ensures upon deck, with sailors running up the rigging in a vain attempt to evade its enormous tentacles. We've all been there. Alas, the kraken would eventually pluck them off one by one and gulp them down, its bone-snapping maw. Running below deck would only mean a little longer to live, for the devilfish would simply wrap its tentacles around the ship and squeeze until it bursts open, allowing them to pick out the tasty human morsels. So I have featured a kraken, but I hadn't planned on putting the kraken into the story. And my story was about pirates. I won't spoil it for people that may want to read it. But it's about pirates. I wanted to write a pirate story, but I wanted to write a less traditional pirate story. So, again, I won't spoil it.
There's no parrot on the shoulder?
There's no parrot on the shoulder, no, but there was a crow.
Are there 8 pieces?
Of what? Donuts?
I don't know. Pieces of 8. That's what they were.
Pieces of 8?
8 pieces.
Of cake?
I don't know.
Don't know. Piece of gold, isn't it?
I would imagine so.
That's what it is. Well, the monetary system in my world is coglets. And a few coglets did change hands, I will say that. But I needed an ending to my pirate story.
They generally need ending stories.
They do need endings.
After a while.
Yeah. It's good to always end with an ending.
Yeah.
Rather than end with a middle.
Yeah.
Or even a beginning. But yeah, no, I needed an ending, but I needed an ending that had 2 enemies, and I needed them to somehow unite together. That's when I thought, so I am spoiling it a little bit. They're on a ship. What's the big
the common
beastie?
enemy?
Yeah, it's a common enemy. Overcome the common enemy. So I had a kraken come out and crack them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but if I was to go, right, let's do a main story, then what would you do that if the kraken was the sort of main focus of the story then? Come on, you're on a roll.
I don't know. I feel this is a bit harder because it's kind of like the story's already there. But
there's nothing wrong with writing the story that's already there as well.
Alright, I'll write that.
Yeah, okay. There you go, you see? Story Spark card, another win.
Okay.
No, but you could sort of go, well, that's what kind of popped into my mind as I was reading it. It's like, okay, so if this was the main story, you could have it where it's a little bit like Moby Dick, or Jaws, where you kind of, there is a threat, it's a known threat, and then, there's a huge reward if someone can go and kill the kraken, that lives in the sea of despair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you could do, like, the kraken has, you start off with the kraken and its kraken lady wife and its kraken babies and
kraken jokes.
They need food, and because of overfishing,
there's no food.
So they've got to eat the pirates.
They've got to eat the pirates.
See?
So it's
a bit
humans'
more complex
fault.
than
yeah. You're trying to make out that monsters are the good guys now.
No.
We all know they're
well,
not. Look.
No, I know.
But you see, creatures aren't necessarily evil or good though, as well, unless they've actually got a
Horns.
No, unless they've
Halo.
Unless they've
They're
got
the telltale signs.
Am I allowed to speak? Unless you've got something like the succubus.
Pardon?
Temptation. These demons take on the form of a beautiful woman, but a more thorough examination will reveal deformities such as a bird-like talons or serpentine tail. The succubus appears to men at night to seduce them in their sleep. The male counterpart is an incubus who seduces women in their sleep. So they've got thinking. What's the word? Sentient. They're more sentient. They're aware of good and evil. They know what they're doing. They're making choices.
Yeah.
But they are demons. So you can say yes, that they've chosen to be evil. They're being evil. Whereas you could argue that a kraken is just hungry.
Just doing what krakens do.
Yeah, it's like a shark. It needs food. It's a predator, and if you happen to be that food, you happen to be that food. It's nothing personal to being a human. But yes, you could write it. You could, if you want, write it from a kraken's point of view. I don't know how you'd do that though, because unless again you made them talking. But I always think I'm not a big fan of that in that respect. I would rather have a character that has to overcome something to do with the monster. There could be a connection somehow. Or it could be that there's, that krakens once were like whales, I guess, or polar bears, or whatever. They were rife, and we've fished them. Maybe they were a delicacy. You had a culture that the kraken, the skull of a kraken and the tentacles of the kraken, the suckers of the, is like caviar. It's very rich people, would pay big coglets, gold coglets for the delicacy in fine restaurants, and then they would just overfish and overfished and overfished.
No wonder they're angry.
And no wonder they're angry, yeah. And and consequently, because you've disrupted, too far part of the ecosystem within the sea, maybe that's got a consequence for the other wildlife in there, that maybe then there's too many sharks around, or there's too many whales, or whatever, it just it unbalances the ecosystem. And so that maybe then you could have it from a point of view from an activist who is trying to save the kraken.
Yep.
Save our kraken.
Yeah. They're misunderstood.
Misunderstood creatures. Well, not necessarily misunderstood, but just overfished. You've just, they're doing it from a sort of animal protection point of view. Where it used to be, 100 years ago, there was loads, but now, and it could be that they
get eaten by the kraken themselves. That would be a sort of sad.
That would be a twist in the tail.
Quite a dark ending.
In the tentacle. Twist in the tentacle. Maybe that's what you could call it. Would you want that? It depends how you want your readers to feel. I always think if you're going to do stuff like that, there's got to be a good reason why, and it's got to feel right. Endings that can potentially make or break your story, because if you've, like Game of Thrones, as we all know,
I suppose there's a kind of that sort of dying doing what they
love, for the cause. But then I always like to have it that it's not just it gets eaten by a kraken, that's it, and they've made no difference.
Yeah.
You'd like to think somehow then their cause was furthered and it actually helped.
Yeah. Rather than it's pointless being nice.
Yes. Because I do think stories should mean something. I hate it when it's like, and it's all a dream, because it's like, well, I've just read all of that and now you're just saying it's a dream, then it means nothing. And the same with, and that's why I'm not a big fan of time travel, when it's like, well, we just changed that, and it's like, so you've just wiped out everything that you've just set up and I've just invested in. So I've yet to introduce time travel into my fantasy novel. I guess there's no reason why you can't. That's a whole debate for another day. What's fantasy and what is folklore and what is science fiction? So there we are. The Story Spark cards. They're fun, aren't they?
They are fun. Yes.
But yeah, we've picked out ones that are more traditional, like the griffin and the kraken and the dragon, plus some more obscure ones like the goofus birds, which is very strange. Because the strange bird does everything backwards, from building its nest upside down like an igloo with an exit underneath. Many folk have wondered how its eggs stay inside, to flying backwards, if so desired. In order to see the scenery, it just flew over.
I wonder if it eats backwards.
Yeah, what, like regurgitates it?
Yeah, like through its bottom.
Yeah.
And then poos out its mouth.
I've not specified that, but if that was part of your story... But that's the thing, they get you to think about stuff like that, because you go, okay, that's really weird, how would that work? And then you start thinking about the practicalities of that and go, okay, yeah, is everything backwards? Well, it says it does. The 8-forked serpent, so again another type of serpent. We have got a mixture as well of land creatures, flying creatures and sea creatures, and also supernatural creatures as well. So the Freybug, in fact, spoilers, you don't know this, the story I'm writing at this moment, this month's Tale of Wonder that I do for my patrons. A bit of a spoiler, a Freybug is involved. Supernatural. This monstrous black dog with fiery eyes is roughly the size of a calf and wanders the country lanes in search of unsuspecting villagers returning from a night of merriment in the taverns. Thought to be supernatural, its large, sharp teeth and claws and powerful bite are certainly real enough for those unfortunate to be attacked on a cold and dark evening. Some people who claim to have seen and survived their encounter with the Freybug tell of its shape-shifting ability. It is said to take the form of a headless man or lady, a white cat or a rabbit. The Freybug may also become invisible and walk about with the sound of rattling chains, and is rumoured to foretell the death of an individual by laying across the threshold of his or her house.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot there to ignite the imagination there.
It's interesting it's called a bug, isn't it? It's a dog. And you've got the bugbear as well, haven't you?
There is the bugbear.
If there's some sort of mythical connection.
Possibly. I wondered that as well, and I forgot. I was going to look up the word bug just to see if it had any other sort of connotation, but you can be bugged by something, to be annoyed by something, can't you?
Yeah.
So and a bugbear is that. What's your bugbear?
Yes, but I'm assuming the mythical creature came first, and that might not have anything to do with being annoyed.
True, and that's why I love words, because it's like, okay, so which came first, the cockatrice or the egg? The
bugbear or the bugbear?
Yeah, the bear. Yeah, exactly. But you you can get really inspired by these, and again, I this was classic example of me going, right, for this month's Tale of Wonder, what should I write about? And I knew I wanted to write about a creature. I don't always write about creatures, but I thought, right, I'm gonna focus it on the creature this time. So sometimes I don't, they're just kind of in passing in my stories, sometimes they're the main feature. This one I wanted it to be a main feature, and I did literally just look through all my cards and went, right, what is the Freybug again? Let me remind myself of it. And I thought, God, there's a lot in there that you could have. And again, you can pick and choose. You don't need to have it shape-shifting, you could just have it as a black dog. I mean, if you didn't want it to be supernatural, you don't have to. Again, it's all your choice. It's just to give you that spark to go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. You could have it where, yes, it's seen as a ghostly cat or rabbit. It shape shifts into a rabbit. You could have it where it becomes invisible. So you could start off there where it's just
some rattly chains.
Yeah, rattly chains. It's Scrooge all over, isn't it? Jacob Marley. You can have that opening. And again, I that's quite a good opening, because that people will start thinking of Scrooge. So already you're invoking a classic story. So that kind of gets them in a good mood, because most people, I would imagine, like A Christmas Carol. And so if you kind of can invoke that, you've tricked them into liking your story. But yeah, it's rumoured to foretell the death of an individual by laying across the threshold of that's a really strange one as well, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So you could start
if you have
it with
a white cat, you'll never know.
Yeah. If it's, oh my God, who's gonna die? But you could have it where it could be a black dog, a supernatural black dog, is lying, like at the beginning of the story, is lying across the threshold, and you're like, what? Also, what? Whose this dog is this? And then
you die. Somebody
dies within the family, and then it's like, oh, and then it could
unfold.
Exactly. You can amp up the terror. So thank you for watching. Hopefully that's just an example of how to use these cards. I know it might seem pretty obvious, but I think you'll have a lot of fun. So you can either obviously just use them on your own, and you can use them in a concise way where you look down the list and then find the exact card. You can do them randomly like we did today, and then come up with some great ideas, great stories. So thank you very much for your participation.
No, thank you. Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. You can have a snooze now.
Thank you.
But beware, the Freybug might.
I'm not sure that's the incubus that I'm.
Oh yeah.
More
being seduced in your sleep. Woo!
Yeah, I've got enough responsibilities, thanks. I don't need a demon child.
I think a lot of people might say their children are demons, aren't they? Thank you for watching. Yes, if you do want to get involved, the Kickstarter is the 1st of August this year. That's 2021. And go to Kickstarter. Presumably you can search for Story Spark cards when it's live. But pre that, so from now onwards, you can click the button. So like I say, there will be a description. There'll be a link in the description where you can click the link and it will take you to the Kickstarter page where it says, there's a button where it says notify me on launch. If you click that, you do have
just tap it if you're using your phone.
Oh, clever. Tap that. You've done that, haven't you? Tell me what happened. You survived.
Yeah.
No, because
I clicked on the link.
Yeah.
I tapped on the link.
And what happens?
And then it just
do you have to sign in? Do you have to have a Kickstarter account?
Oh, you don't spring this on me. I guess so. I already had one, so
yeah.
Maybe I did sign in. I guess I did, because then otherwise, how would they know?
Well, that's what I think. What did it say? Thank you. We will notify you, or can you remember? Because it won't let me do that because I'm the one.
Yeah, you just click on it and then it says
she has
you'll
no
be
idea.
notified. Yeah, you must have to sign in because then it sends you to your email.
Right, so I think what happens is if you have already a Kickstarter account, if you click on that, it might ask you then to log into your account, and then there'll be a notification, an email from them within your Kickstarter account. And then obviously, 1st of August when we launch, as soon as we launch, it should ping everybody who have clicked notify me.
Can't use that verb.
Wow, I'm reclaiming it. Yeah? I can use whatever words I like. I'm a storyteller, a wordsmith, a weaver of stories. And very annoying as well. Yes, so it will notify you there. So please click that link, click onto the notify me, because I wouldn't want you to miss out on this. I'm trying to do my best to sell this. I'm not very good as a salesman, am I? I'm more of a storyteller. But I think, yeah, if you have any interest in storytelling, it would be good if you're games and art.
It's just a really beautiful deck to...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're into fantasy and you just like having objects that are beautiful, if you like precious things, definitely you'll love this. But also, yeah, if you're a storyteller, if you're a games master, dungeon master for role-playing games, you know, and you're creating your own campaign for your adventurers, then yeah, you could, again, this is great. And also you could do it in game. So you might have planned out your campaign, but they might, you know how adventures happens, players want to go off, you know, where you don't know that they're going to go off, and they go off down a side route, and you're having to think on the fly. Simply, but you could do it behind your screen, you know, your DM screen, and you can just shuffle the cards, pick out, you know, one of these creatures, quickly read it, or you could even read it out to them and say, right, ha 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 ha, this is what's happened. You have met the 8-forked serpent, and then you could either read it out or simply quickly scan it and then use it in your story on the fly. So it's very good for random encounters as well. If you're a teacher, drama, English, art, I would imagine, because you could primary school. I believe primary school at the moment they're doing a Mythical Creatures term or module, yeah. So perfect for teachers. If you know, if you've got spare time in your class, you probably won't, but you could build this in. Where a bit of creative writing, obviously you could randomly hand out the cards to your class. It's 50 cards, so you should have enough. You know, normally there's about 30 kids in the class. You could hand one out to each kid. They could write a story, you know, that can spark them off on their fantastic creative writing journey. Right, I'm going to stop talking now. Jeez, you're literally falling asleep, aren't you? Did you? If you ever want to see someone falling asleep on camera, just keep watching. We're not going to stop now. We're just going to watch you fall asleep.
No.
Oh, bless. Thank you for watching. Yes, so if you do want to find out a little bit, well, not a little bit more information, because I think we covered everything else, but if you kind of want to watch some videos, I've done some videos on the individual cards as well. Visit www.talesfromedra.com, and Edra is spelled E-D-R-A, and I've put up all the videos that I've created so far advertising this, publicising this.
Yeah, or they could join the Mythical Tales from Edra Facebook group.
Thank you very much.
Or
yes.
Join the page. I don't know, like the page.
You can like the page, but you can join the group, Mythical Tales from Edra Facebook group, yes.
It's all up there as well.
It's all there. thank you so much. And remember, may the magic of stories flow through you, always. Ooh. Night then.